Sport mode. Plop. That was 60 to 130 kilometers an hour. I mean, it's not the most performant electric vehicle, but in most cases will be sufficient. And here at 140 kilometers an hour, it's like 80, 85 miles an hour. It's not too loud here. It's actually quite okay. And suspension with 19-inch wheels here is rather stiff, I would say. So some uneven parts of the road, you do feel them quite prominently, I would say. Yeah, we're gonna compare it also soon in city driving, but it is rather rough indeed from suspension. Oh, what's your take?
Yeah, you feel little bumps all the time.
Yeah, the small
like
bumps
you're
you
shaking
feel.
all the time.
Yeah, indeed. So we're here in Germany today to test it really top speed. Let's see if we can get it to top speed. 175 kilometers an hour is the official top speed, and yeah, it takes time to reach that. But don't think it's too loud at high speeds. That's actually quite cool.
Good,
yeah, it's just suspension-wise, it feels weird a little bit. Now 178 kilometers an hour, that's the top speed. Let's see when I change the lane. That's okay. Doesn't give me the most secure feeling, honestly. You feel as if the car would be sitting relatively high, now hard on the brakes. Now, of course, we also use the rear brakes, not only recuperation. In most other situations, recuperation will only be used. The rear brakes only if you like really hammer it. A little bit squeaking here, like when you put your elbow on here. That you do feel actually. When you're here below 100 kilometers an hour, 60 miles an hour, then you don't feel so much like from this feeling, but we can say it does not feel that Mazda-esque from the driving, and there you feel that this is here a joint venture and not necessarily a proprietary Mazda model. From the exterior, yes, and from the interior design, definitely yes, but driving-wise, it does not drive like a Mazda, you know. So suspension indeed could be more comfortable. Steering-wise, it's a little bit vague, I would say. It's not that it has dead zone, but there is not a great feeling to it. So I can also put here different modes. We're in the sport mode at the moment. That's already stiffer. I can also go individual mode and have, for example, the steering to the sport setting. And I would recommend it because that is already, even in the sport mode, is a rather soft setting. You know, I've set the energy recovery to low. That means when I lift my foot off the throttle, it's really low, but I could also set it to high, and then I have a strong recuperation. And something in between is also possible, so you can set it, but you can only set it when you are in the individual mode. So when you are in the normal mode or in the power mode, then it's basically a fixed preset from the vehicle itself. Another lane change here. Sometimes the lane change is like this, going off the lane assist. This one does intervene from time to time, a little bit too much for my feel. Of course, you can deactivate a lot of the settings from this vehicle, but you have to do it each time you start up the vehicle. Also here in the smart drive setting, there you can deactivate speed limit chime, overspeed warning, and so on. They plan to maybe set it here on one of the favorite buttons that you can have the possibility. At this moment, it's not possible. And also, maybe you heard here this small beep, beep, beep from time to time. This is a warning that I'm looking away from the road. And this is also very, very sensitive. So you do see and feel things that we have often seen with Chinese vehicles, that all the driver assistance systems are extra alert and are really paying attention too much for our taste, so to speak. And especially like when you change the lanes, so often that the lane change, like this assist that keeps you in the lane, actually is intervening too much for me. So the positive thing definitely already from motorway, that's actually quite silent. It has kind of like an inbuilt lumbar support, even if you have the lumbar support all the way out. You know what I mean? So it's really strong from the standard setting of the vehicle. Now again, we can also change the driving mode here. The steering wheel can go one more time to the sport mode. One more acceleration, like 60, so here to 100. That was 60 to 100. So I say the performance is enough, but definitely comparable vehicles, there are a lot that have better performance in that respect. We cannot change the suspension with the driving setting or something like that, so it always remains on the very same level. I really have to say that, yeah, you do feel vibrations also in the steering wheel. You know, do you feel that when you?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel it. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. It's like always a yeah.
Feel it in my bones. Yeah. Yeah. That's really the thing. So, I mean, even after driving it for a couple of minutes, I really have to say it looks stunning on the exterior. The price and price performance is awesome. The interior build quality looks great, but then, I mean, this is the first thing we discovered that is not so well built, like this here. And I mean, I was even looking straight, and now it's complaining already. You have to deactivate a lot of the things here that to make your ride more comfortable. I think really the weakest point of this car is the drive, really, because it drives nothing special. Uh, Suspension is not that comfortable, and it does not give you this Mazda driving feeling. So to me, the Mazdas are always about that the drive is fantastic, you know, and even if some things were maybe not that special, it was always so much fun to drive a Mazda. And this vehicle just
right
does.
here.
That's the voice.
Best friend,
The voice assistant, and it's actually not present with this vehicle. You know, also when you steer it here around, you
I'm
don't
here.
you don't feel that the
I didn't catch.
you you don't feel that the vehicle is connected. And actually, it's the Mazda marketing claim: the connection of driver, car, and road. This Jim by Itai, they call it. And this is not present in this vehicle. And yeah, that's a problem. I mean, some maybe won't care if you're not like a driver-focused buyer or something like that. But if you are, you should just know that. Here also, for example, road is a little bit uneven, and you do feel that you cannot go for smaller wheels or something like that. You're stuck with 19-inch wheels, which should usually be fine. Let's see now, approaching the traffic light. Yeah, the brake blending here is actually quite fine. You can also dose it. Traffic light jumps to green. Let's see about city driving. Rear-wheel drive is of course cool, right? You know how it gets out of the corners. That's fun, definitely. And as I said, like the noise insulation, it's really silent. Nice ride in that respect. And also when we are driving fast at the motorway, no problem. But the most things you do feel is that the suspension and the steering, they're both a little bit off. It's maybe something they can fine-tune from time to time. What's really interesting when just traveling through the city, and then, I mean, it makes sense, you know, that the Chinese-built vehicles, they're built for Chinese traffic, lower speeds, mostly traffic inside the city, and you don't have high speeds, motorways, and so on. And this is what this car is also doing well here, inside the city, smooth, silent, electric, rear passengers have enough legroom, and so on. And it's not like German manufacturers develop their cars that they run well at 150 kilometers an hour on the motorway. And the shortcomings of this vehicle you rather feel on the Autobahn, on the motorway, especially on the German Autobahn. But in the city, rather not. You know, there it rather feels like a luxurious sedan. You know, everything looks nice, feels nice, and so on. Yeah, this squeaking thing, we have to see if it continues to be that way, or if the maybe later built vehicles will not have that. We'll keep you updated with that. But in the city, it's more the effect, yeah, you have the rear-wheel drive, you have an electric vehicle, and then you can also nicely get out of the corners. It's silent and it's smooth. And also the shortcomings from suspension and from the chassis and so on, you don't feel it that much. It's really like, as faster you go, the more you feel then the difference from this one here to the competitors, you know, like low spec BMW i4, Mercedes CLA entry spec, and so on, something like that. And Model 3, that's of course a very interesting point. So the Model 3 is also very stiff in the suspension, yes, but then again it also drives very sporty, you know. So you have a better sporty control feeling with the Model 3. Does the Model 3 drive better? I would say so. I mean, this one here, Did you hear the car complain about my verdict? So I think the Model 3 drives better. But this
you
one
don't have that vibration thing.
Yeah, the vibration. Yeah. That's
It's sporty and it drives sporty.
yeah.
That's
The Model
it,
3
yeah.
is sporty. Period.
Yeah.
So yeah, but everything else is then fine. And this one here has its own advantages. You know, like the exterior design and the space you have there, more length in comparison to the Model 3 and so on, and the cool interior stuff and so on. But in driving, it's really hard to find advantages in comparison to the competitors. But as I said, when you predominantly drive city and not so much high speed, you won't feel as much of it.